Hello. Once again, you have taken the elevator and dropped yourself straight into Hella Vella, where we talk about all things to do with the brand new exciting reading platform, serial reading platform from Amazon called Vella. And this morning we have an interview here with Mr. Robert Grayson, author of The Wizard's Kin and, if I'm not mistaken, Rain. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. All right. See, I'm at least that awake.
Yes, you are with it. It's funny. I thought that this was a doctor's appointment, so I am not prepared for this at all. Boy,
That's okay. Just stick your finger on the mouse pad and I'll take your blood pressure. That's common. That is common.
I know.
So, anyway, sir, very nice to have you on here.
Nice to be on.
For those watching, I was more than an hour late. I set this appointment by mistake at 9 p.m. instead of 9 a.m. But Robert's a good guy and a good sport, and he let me get away with it. So yay. Yay me.
This time, yes.
Anyway, so I've already done my, I'm not worthy, I'm so sorry thing, but now the audience knows. So there you go.
You didn't have to do that, but you did. So
I will be absolved by outing myself as a numpty.
I've never heard that before.
Oh. Well, believe me, I live up to that name more often than not. But what I want to ask you, let's get right to it. I'm jumping right in. I love The Wizard's Kin. It's a beautiful story. I have not tried Rain, but will you tell me now, when, sir, did you get started writing?
Well, I would say elementary school.
Ooh, I love it.
I just wrote a bunch of stuff that was derived from something else. I was, science fiction nerd even back then. And it was all Star Wars and Star Trek and Dune. And I remember writing and this is not necessarily totally original, but we were supposed to write a Valentine's Day story. And I just adapted the screenplay of the first Star Wars movie into a Valentine's Day themed Star Wars movie. So, stuff like that all through junior high. I've always wanted to write a Star Wars novel, actually.
Fanfic, right? This
was all fan fiction, but I've always wanted to really write a Star Wars novel that was real. But then I recently have kind of come to realize that those authors don't really have a lot of control over what they their ideas and everything.
Not this much.
Not so sure about that anymore. But I drew some comics and some art books. Looking back on this stuff, it's just like, yikes. Not great.
Hey, you got to cut your teeth on something.
True. It was an okay start. From there, went to online games. Joined with groups of people who role-playing groups who would play games in character, and also on the side kind of we wrote stories together. And that was kind of a big boost for me to get into kind of doing my own thing, because we came up with a lot of original stuff, but we did it together.
Kind of, you wrote with your guild mates?
Yes. Yeah. So we'd have, we do, sometimes those stories we bring into the game, but a lot of times we just have, a website, the guild site, where we'd have, places where we'd write stories together. We'd kind of, one person would write a chunk of it, and the next person would kind of take over for their character. And that was really fun and addictive.
That is really cool.
As addictive as the game itself, and sometimes we'd have scripted events in the games and stuff. So, a lot of other people in the games made fun of us for that, but we had fun.
Made fun of you for getting together and writing things?
Well, getting together and playing in character and stuff in the game and stuff.
Well, you would just use your Well, I just, well, F them. I mean, that's why. That sounds like a whole bunch of fun to me.
Oh, it was good.
It sounds like a good era of life.
Yeah, it's the good old days. Yeah.
Well, and it's because it's not just because of the game or the story. It was the friends.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And the camaraderie. It's
from
not
everywhere.
Yeah.
Friends from all over the world, riding together and playing together.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
I just think that's dope, man. When was that?
That kind of thing started in 1999 with EverQuest.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
and then just World of Warcraft came along. I did some for the Star Wars, the Old Republic. I just I kind of tried to, ever since those days of EverQuest, I tried to relive the same experience, and it's just it's diminishing, but it was fun. And I did make some friends, a lot of friends, some of whom I'm still in contact with.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
I've known people who play D&D, and dang, they've been getting together for 20 years.
I still play D&D a little bit.
Yeah. And some of these people that come over to their house have become their dearest friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they go to their houses and stuff like that, and it makes a ring of friends, is what it does.
It does. I used to, some people say, you're playing what? Isn't that a kid's game? And I'd say, well, just think of it as like a more complex poker night.
Yes.
We're getting together, we're having fun, we're making fun of each other. It's a good time, and ever since I used to do it in school in 3rd grade, and I'm still doing it now, I will say that as far as the writing, I think I really truly started when I got married. My wife, she knew that, my job, the people at my job weren't bad people. I just didn't really like the job because I always wanted to write. I always wanted to do something else. And she actually gave me that opportunity when I married her and I moved in. She built me this office in the backyard. And although it's
with
not
her own hands,
no.
Okay, well, hey,
she had this office built for me in the backyard. Not cheap, but here it stands. And so I'm out here with my own space, and I'm able to, come out here and write.
Let me see your man cave. Let's see it.
No, you're not going to see it. It's totally unfinished, and half of it's filled with stuff from my storage unit still. So that it is not quite the man cave I envisioned yet. But
so when did you get married?
In 2019.
Okay.
And so when she got pregnant, she's a labor and delivery nurse. And we decided that I was going to kind of stay home with the baby. So she let me quit my job and just start writing. So I started on a couple of novels. And this is 2019. And I've never really finished anything, but those novels are still there. But just by her doing it, I give her a lot of credit for letting me get truly started, at least at making an attempt at the dream.
Yeah, I mean, that means the world when you're able to, because man, I got to tell you, after I missed the boat in the early 90s and didn't get picked up by a publisher after 2 grueling years of writing and being on unemployment, food stamps, and just whenever you could possibly get a little money, you put it together. I was like, oh no. After that was just totally crushed. I went to work and I did things that occupied my brain, took my brain power, because I wanted to make enough money to support the family. My husband at that time did not contribute.
Mhm.
And, and that became my focus. And when you get home from one of those brain bending days, when you work in tech and everything is going just like this all day long, and you're getting 200-300 emails a day that you're having to track and keep up with, and you're like, and you get home, you're a fried pie. You don't feel
all
like
you want to do is just collapse, right?
smoke a ball and just forget that that your brain is bending that way.
Yep. I have experienced that, yes. And so this is definitely, as I said, I give her a lot of credit for me being able to start this.
I do too. I do too.
And even now, as I told you, her best friend watches the baby on some mornings. So I still get some time. It's not as much as before, of course. Very busy.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't, looking at some of these other authors, I really don't know how they do it. It's a mystery to me.
Brianna
Leslie
Leslie got 9 kids hanging off of her. Kids coming out of her hair, and she's,
I know, I saw that. Yeah.
Knocking these things out right and left. I'm just in, oh.
Yeah, and just pushing out these stories and getting stuff in print. So I'm trying to keep up a little bit with that. It's not easy.
I had to give up.
It's a mystery.
I had to give up trying to keep up with the super fast younger ones because it was knocking me in the dirt.
Yeah.
You got to do what is your pace. You got to do your own pace. But we're seeing a number of these people. Brianna's not the only one. We're seeing a number of these powerhouses, and it's very compelling. You feel like you're getting behind.
Right.
Seeing the books coming out, and you're just like, hey man, I was on there before they were, man.
That's great. But what the hell?
That's really wonderful. I'm so happy for you.
I'm very happy look at those numbers. Oh wow. I'm still sitting on goose eggs today.
Yeah. Won't you come right here? I want to poke you in the eye. But it's just going to be that way. It's going to be varied as we are varied as storytellers, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. And a lot of these people who have good numbers, really good numbers, are the same people who are supporting this community, and
well, I can think of one in particular.
Yeah.
My arch nemesis.
Your arch nemesis.
Gage Green.
Is this the person?
Hang on.
Look at this. Look at this awesome book. Yeah, see? As you know, we are contractually obligated to mention Saint Gage. Yeah.
It's in the Vella terms of service now. We have to.
It is. And I don't know if people generally know that, but you are, anytime you're on video, you got to say it. So
Gage Greenwood, just slip it in. You can be talking about anything. I enjoy having granola and bananas and Gage Greenwood for breakfast.
A little bit Gage Greenwood.
But seriously, this dude jumped in. And he took hold of something we couldn't even define, and he wrote it down and managed to do a killer. Have you looked at this thing?
I have, yeah. I know.
Have you made yourself sick on this thing? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. The cover is beautiful. Yeah. The font is beautiful.
The man is beautiful.
And here's a little photo of him there. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, exactly. There's that beautiful mug right there.
There's that pencil sketch of him. And then here's, and he did a good job. I want to hate on him. I want to cut him up, but I can't. No, it's really.
We love you, Gage.
We do, and it's really beautiful. The whole thing is really beautiful. Did you notice the super sexy first page of every chapter is a darker color?
I saw that, and I think he posted about something about the program that he uses for
formatting.
We call it putting it all together, and I'm gonna look that up too when it's time, because I got to do something similar. We all got to.
My dear friends
learn from him.
Are taking me on as a charity case or formatting my first novel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Formatting. That's like, that word I was looking for. Formatting.
Yeah. My dear friends are going to do it for me the first time. It's like second time, you got to hire it done.
Well,
okay. All right.
Yeah.
But I think they want to help me, because they don't want me to be so geezed out I croak off before I get one in print. It's like, we're going to help you. Let me have that first 65,000 words. I'm going to run it to a book so you can see one before you die.
I hope that happens for me.
I hope it happens for both of us. I know I'm taking one of mine into book this fall. So when did you see about Vella? Were you already involved in the limited program?
I think I caught wind of it, but I just didn't really see it until maybe last August.
Okay.
So still pretty early, I think, but
it was.
I really wish I could have got in there super early. And I actually adapted a novelette that I had finished. That was a kind of a prequel to one of the books I was writing to it. So I actually have 3 stories out there. It's a secret because the story just needs so much work. It needs a lifeline thrown to it, and I haven't done that yet because I haven't had the time. But
and
it's
you're not
still
gonna tell me
there.
What it is.
I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's called Starcross: The Mancer's Dilemma. But don't tell anybody, because man, it is embarrassing.
I got it.
it's really dense, and it needs some cutting down and trimming and rewriting altogether. But it's okay. It's like a 10 episode completed story, and I'll go back to it at some point.
Some of you sci-fi bros get a little thick though.
Yeah, it's a it's a sci-fi fantasy.
Okay.
And just as the book that I'm writing is, I don't know. If anybody wants to take a look at it, you can, but just know that it's going to be different at some point.
Well, we will stick with how did you begin? Let's stick with that. So you found out about August of 2021 that there was this thing called Vella.
Yeah.
And at that point you have a couple of unfinished novels, right? And then and so you say, hey, this looks like something I want to try, right?
Yeah. And I thought, what can I pull into this? Can I start putting one of these books on there? And I just couldn't figure out exactly how I was going to put that into episodes. So I said, well, maybe one of these little stories, one of these short stories, and I have this novelette, and let me see if I can put that in there. It actually wasn't finished yet either.
So was Starcross the first thing, or was Wizards?
Starcross was the first thing.
Oh.
It was mostly already written, but it wasn't adapted.
I see.
So I went in and I broke it down. It was a novelette with 3 chapters, and I just broke each chapter into pieces as best I could, and threw it on there. And my friends went on there and read it. That's about it. But then again, I also wasn't part of the community, back then.
Right.
And and since putting that on Vella, I've learned so much, not just about Vella, but about, you know, what people want, what people like
What
to
they're looking
read,
for.
and you know, how to write better.
You know, when I
So
stopped writing the words tropes, they hadn't even
yeah,
entered the writer sphere,
right,
you know.
right. But I went back and I looked at it, and it's not easy to read. Was the main thing that I was seeing.
All right, so you did a little bit of Tolkien horseshit. There you go.
Right, right, and
A little
it's,
dense, a little bit thick, little in your own head.
you know,
And
like the stuff that I read when I was a kid. You know, I
yeah.
read Dune when I was 8 years old.
And my God, if that's not thick, nothing is.
I know. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I learned, and that's kind of what I read. So that's kind
Well,
of
that's
what I
cool.
did.
I bet
And
it's better than you think.
it doesn't help that I watch you know, like the Hollow Crown, the Shakespeare adaptations, and then I write, you know, an hour after that. That doesn't help.
I can see
Because
you,
it's kind
Robert.
of
I can see
flowery.
you in my head.
But
Yea, verily, I can do it better than that.
right. So after Starcross, I started looking around on Vella and kind of seeing what it was about. And I just thought to myself, I should write something that is for this platform, that is serial fiction, because that really wasn't. So, and I also thought I would really like to write it, you know, simpler. So I decided on young adult, and I thought, well, I can give it a try. And so that's when I came up with The Wizard's Kin, which is something that I've been writing just seat of the pants. There is an idea, there are ideas forming in my head as to where I want to go now. But at the beginning, it was nothing. You know, it was two guys standing in a field complaining about the elves that were bringing a delivery to. And from there, it just turned into something completely different. And now I actually have to think about it when I write it.
It's fun though, don't you think?
It is fun. It is fun. And I'm still trying to do seat of the pants as much as I can, but I do have ideas for me, because I don't want it to be totally, you know, just go nowhere.
And you know, that graphic, dude, you hit a winner chicken dinner on that graphic with that silhouetted guy walking away, you know, like this,
right.
like
And
like he's tossing a spell over his shoulder.
I got that from one of those websites, and it's not exclusive to me. And I'm really surprised that I have not seen it again.
I am too.
But I'm very happy
a lot
that
of
I've not seen it again.
You do see a lot of that open art.
Yeah.
Out there, a couple of three times, you know.
I did that with
wildly
Rain too.
different shit. Yeah.
Right. I was thinking of getting somebody to do Rain, and I eventually will, but I did the same thing with Rain. I found that one. I don't think I've seen it again yet, but it did say that it has been used frequently. So where, I don't know. But yeah, the Wizard's Kin one was one of those ones that was like not used at all yet. And I was just lucky to find it.
Man, you scored. You really scored. I think everybody loves that graphic.
Yeah.
So I wanted to look at Rain real quick. But anyway, so you go forward, you're writing on the Wizard's Kin. When did you start writing on Rain? That's been pretty recent.
Yeah, and I think the idea started in December, because I felt like with we had our daughter in preschool now, and my wife's best friend was watching her after school, so I had a little bit more time. And I thought, well, I have enough time to throw in another story here. I was writing Wizard's Kin, and for a month or two there, I was putting out 2 episodes a week. And I thought, well, I can fit another one of these in here. And then, of course, as soon as I start writing it, I just find I have no time to write. So it's been a struggle to find time now for both of these. And although I am continuing both of these, I have not put out a Wizard's Kin for a little while. And I've been working kind of exclusively on Rain just this month. but I will pick it back up eventually as I
I'm still
find the
trying to
time.
hit my stride after COVID.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
messed me up for months.
Yeah, that was something else too. There was a little pause there for that as well because I had it and it was not fun.
No, mine wasn't a mild case by any stretch of the imagination.
You know, the thing is I still had people to take care of, you know, when I had it. My daughter had it first.
Your little baby?
Yep. Although it didn't affect her very much. It's like a cold for her.
Yeah, the young ones, it does sometimes.
Yeah. And so, of course, I got it after. No one else in the house got it. And we were testing constantly, so I don't know how that works.
Well, anyway.
But, yeah, that put a little damper on things, didn't it?
Dude, I couldn't have taken care of a corpse. I couldn't move. There were times when my head would be absolutely like locked in place. I couldn't turn it left or right very
Yeah,
well.
man, wow.
Oh, the headache that came was like
Yeah.
someone had taken a cast iron skillet and bashed me in the head. So, you know, but anyway, I think I'm crawling out of that. But life, you know, life has a way of, it's like you get too cocky or something, it'll just smack you right off the treadmill.
It smacked me too. I realized that something was wrong when I picked up my daughter and she weighed twice as much as she normally did, which she didn't. It was just me totally weak.
Mm-hmm.
But I lost my smell for a month. That was driving me nuts.
Oh, it's very strange, very strange. And and you've got a baby there with a poopy diaper.
Right.
It
totally helped with that. That was the only thing that was good about that.
But it's weird to like, it's right there in front of you and you can't smell it.
Yep.
It's the strangest sensation.
That was, and I'm trying to think of when I got that. It was in November, and then we had Thanksgiving.
Oh.
We had a couple friends over, and I was just like, everyone I know this stuff probably tastes really good, but I can't taste most of it.
And I don't want to be here. I'm tired. Well, dude, anyway, so yeah, life has a way of beating you down, but you did find a way in. You did write The Wizard's Kin. How many episodes do we have now?
30 on The Wizard's Kin. And then and they're for the most part shorter. I started writing a little longer. There was one episode that just kept going and going, and I could not find a place to cut it in two. And so so I started getting a little bit longer with these, and I just decided, I'm going to go back to the short ones.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to write. It's easier for people to read in small chunks, I think. And I think that's what people were expecting from the beginning. So I went back to doing that. So if you're at that spot, it goes back. It goes back to the smaller ones. Rain is a little bit different. I've been trying to do, between 1,500 and 2,000 words. And it's also different in that it is not young adult. It is kind of a darker, more adult fantasy.
What makes it that to you in your mind?
Well, I have started going back a little bit to the more dense writing, not to the level as before. It has graphic violence in it, and I try to keep that out of Wizard's Kin. The Wizard's Kin it's violent, but it's not descriptively violent. I think Rain will be have a little bit more of that in it. And like I said, the writing might be a bit more complex. It's kind of back to what I kind of want to do. I'm not saying that Wizard's Kin's not what I want to do. Wizard's Kin was an experiment that I'm very happy with.
Is there any way to do both? I guess you're trying to do that with Rain, right? Shorter episodes, but they're denser. Like a cheesecake, man.
I'm still trying to keep it have more of a flow than I did before. As I learn, these things will evolve, and I think Rain is kind of maybe not the end of it, but definitely kind of a result of the things that I've learned so far, from just making it easier to read, but not to the level necessarily of the Wizard's Kin, but just
I see.
yeah.
See.
I don't know, it's confusing to me too. So
No, I get it. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it as an evolution, right? So
yeah.
you started out with the Star-Crossed, and that was, I mean, this is like the Three Bears. It's classic, dude. So the first one was too dense, right?
Right.
And then the second one, you go the other way, but it's great. It's still a great story.
Totally on the other side of the spectrum with that.
Right,
Yeah.
but you wrote it for a YA audience where, the dialogue's super clean, the action is, I don't mean clean like morally, I mean
no, I know.
crisp is what I'm looking for. And you didn't get a lot involved in a lot of, internal monologue on your characters and stuff like that. So you wrote it over here, and now you're trying Rain, which is like the middle of the road, which is what I'm seeing is you're trying to return to the brand of writing that you enjoy, that you like to read and everything, and your mind is bending it around the Vella platform now.
Right. So you got it. I don't even have it. I mean, you got it. But I think I do think that Rain is a little bit closer to Wizard's Kin. It's definitely in the same world.
Yeah, cool.
There's a little bit more thinking going on into the future of the story. I'm not outlining yet. I still resist doing that, but I think that I may start doing a little bit of pseudo outlining for it. We'll see how it goes. The thing about me in writing is I write like I like to read. I don't want to know what happens next. It's a spoiler for me. If I think out a story too far ahead, and I have to stop myself from doing this, like when I'm in bed or something, if I think too far out ahead, I get bored writing it. I get bored with the story.
Yep, because your fingers can't catch up.
Yeah, and right, exactly.
Right, and when it's no longer interesting to you.
Right, and now it becomes real work. and it should, maybe at some point it will be that, but it takes a little bit of the enjoyment out of it for me.
It does.
And you'll see some of the things in Wizard's Kin, some of the things that happen that are cliffhanger worthy are things that I just, I'm writing the episode and it just happened, and that's, to me, that's really cool.
And that's magic right there.
Oh yeah.
I don't talk about my process with anybody, but my process is very, very organic. And I think that that's how you should approach it, and you should have fun with it, because it shows.
If I'm not having fun, then is it worth it? I don't know, maybe. not at these numbers. It's not worth it. But
now, I thought you're doing pretty well with Wizard's Kin.
I'm doing okay.
But that's the other side of this shiny Vella coin, is that in addition to being good writers and finding our stride for writing serial stories, whether they're fiction or nonfiction, in addition to that, we have to become marketers, and we have to know enough about the tech for the social platforms to get ourselves out there. Otherwise, you are lost in the abyss that is Vella.
Yeah.
And
I'm learning it slowly.
Oh, it's really something else. If you listen to any of these interviews that I do, everyone has the same cant. It's like, wow, this takes so much time just to jump. All I want to do is hermit off and go right like it was 1975, and I wish that too. But that ship has sailed, folks, and you got to get yourself out there on the socials. And I, for one, believe that Amazon's lack of advertising has been an intentional move. An intentional move to see how much audience they can reach by each individual author reaching out to their contacts.
Yeah, and I know that some people have really pulled in a fan base that's already there.
A biggin.
Uh-huh. And I don't know if those fans are really branching out to very many other people here. But maybe they are, you know.
I don't know.
But what I have heard is that, you know, even people who publish traditionally, their publishers expect them to do some of that too. Their publishers don't want to spend the money on the marketing and everything. And they've got to, you know, some of these authors are out there setting up their own, you know, readings and signings and everything else. The publisher's not really doing much for them, except maybe doing a video or two with them,
Right.
an interview or two with them. So, I mean, even they, you know, have it like this. They've got to do their own stuff. So I think that the main thing with Vella for me is that it's making me write
Right
now. And I think, you know, honestly, I was just talking to somebody else saying that I think I'm backing off a little bit with you know, hey, I'll read your stuff and I'm going to make some comments on it if you read my stuff. I think I'm going to back off a little bit on that. I know that's going to lose me a little bit of the shiny Vella coin, but I need to put my time into writing.
I know.
Right now. And I think that once I finish, like say I finish The Wizard's Kin, I'm probably going to try and pull a Gage Greenwood here. And Chris Opaki, you know, and Kendra Griffin. Well, actually, Kendra had a book already on there. I guess that's not a Vella, but I'm gonna turn it into a book, you know. And I think that's going to be a transition there that's going to encourage me to get, you know, to do more on with that aspect of it, the marketing stuff. But right now, I know that I need to concentrate on just getting this stuff done.
Yes.
My time constraints and everything notwithstanding, I've got to get this stuff out there. Right. And I can't like expect to make a fortune off of Vella right now. I just need to get this stuff done and see what I can do later. So, and in that aspect, Vella has been really helpful with me, you know, encouraging me to write.
Yeah. And I think it's just a very, very, for me, it is a wonderful thing. It's a very clear yellow brick road pathway to success. You have your Vella and you get paid while you're writing your Vella, you know, get a little bit of readership and get paid while writing your Vella. And then, you know, you roll that into a book and that goes up on to Kindle Unlimited. And to me, we're no different than, say, an artist who's trying to fill a gallery with their work. You know, the difference is that once we fill our gallery, it stays filled.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
And then we go into looking at backlist stuff, and then we start pulling stuff that we wrote 2 or 3 years ago, putting a new cover on it, re-releasing it, and there, Bob's your uncle. You now have a store. You now have a Robert Grayson store.
Right.
Where you can shop and get whatever stories you want, but it doesn't diminish the inventory or deplete it in any way.
Right.
And so I see that as just being, you know, whatever pace you go at it, as long as you're stocking the store.
Right. And I just, you know, I just need to continue. And not only has Vella encouraged me to do that, but the community has too. And without Vella, I would not be part of this community either. Right. And that's just another advantage.
Right.
Just
and
another encouragement.
How special. Right. Yeah. I learn every day how special this community is.
Yeah.
It's not duplicated in the Kindle authors. They didn't have this kind of camaraderie and, you know, closeness. This didn't happen.
Right.
You know, this is something uniquely happening here now.
Right. And I just need to hold myself back from, you know, judging my numbers now, and just say, you know what, this is me writing, and that's all that really matters.
Right.
You know, it'd be nice to get a crown every once in a while, but I'm writing, and that's what really, really matters. And I, you know, it's getting me through this stuff. So there it is.
You know, good God, if you were just making a book out of it, at this point, not a freaking soul would have read a word of it.
Right.
So hell, you're already ahead of the game right there.
Or even giving you feedback. I mean, you can get feedback. These
Do you
guys
think
are
we can
great,
get
great,
Coke
great
to
for that.
sponsor us with me holding up these cans all the
It's
time?
probably not going to happen, but you never know.
Listen, man, don't squash my dreams.
I'm just being realistic, but
I don't like that.
maybe you hold it up enough times and an algorithm will see it, and maybe you never know.
Possibly.
Get a sponsor.
I did you work in tech before? Is that what you're saying to me?
Tech as in like IT and stuff like that, or
Yeah, IT, AI.
no, no. I mean, I worked with technology, but I didn't. I wasn't in the business.
I
No.
see. Well, see, here's the thing. I understand the AI behind TikTok,
Okay.
and I know that my account is trash. You know, like, so when I put like pictures of me and my daughter up there, you know, stuff like that, it throws the whole algorithm off. And you know, but I don't care. I think it's fun. You got to do some fun things.
Oh, TikTok is fun.
Yeah. Yeah. If I were so dead serious about it that I were trying to make a marketing vehicle out of it, it would pretty much sterilize my account. I'd have to delete a bunch of the funner stuff. And
You don't want that to happen.
no, and go to book flips and whatnot. And no.
Like you said, you got to have fun.
You do. You got to have a way to be creative and have an outlet and just be yourself.
Mhm.
And that's whether you understand how it works or not. It's the way it goes. So okay, so you've been writing on The Wizard's Kin. You adapted a novella you had out there, and now you're working on Rain. You're trying to find your stride, and you're working on stocking your store. In the process of this, I know that you've read some Vellas. Would you like to share?
What? You think I have time to read?
No, not really. But
no, but I do. Not as much as I would really, really like to. Believe me, I used to read all the time, even at work.
Yeah, I know. It's keeps you sane.
So, you mean besides yours, right?
No, I don't mean besides mine. Are
Oh,
you going to
because
shout me out?
Gindlina is really good, and I love it just as anybody who reads it does.
Oh man.
Yeah, I love your writing.
Oh, I'm so glad. Oh my God. Yes, I will let you shout.
I would not be
Robert
on
Grayson.
here right now if I didn't love your writing.
Well, I'm humbled. I'm impressed. I thought it was going to be Gage. I was ready to scream.
I think we've already done enough of that. Sorry, Gage.
I was so disappointed the last time somebody said Gage. I just didn't have it in me. I was just like,
I think we fulfilled our contractual obligation
to Saint Gage.
So, yes, to Saint Gage.
All right then. So anybody else? I hope.
Yes. I gotta mention Kendra Griffin's People's History of Magic.
That is a wonderful.
It is really funny. It's humorous, which I like. But there's something about the main character that's really relatable. And even though I'm not really like him too much, I still totally relate to him and his thinking, even as he goes through experiencing some crazy stuff. Just his internal monologue is great.
Yeah. I wonder what that guy's up to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's Kim Richards and her Witchery.
Oh man.
I think I remember giving her feedback at the beginning, and I kind of said it reminded me of Downton Abbey, but with magic. At first, because just the way that they were speaking to each other, I could just. And I know I believe it's in Scotland, but it had that Downton Abbey thing going, and I really liked it. And that's one of those shows that I really like, and I don't know why I like it, but I do.
Right.
But yeah, that was good stuff. There's a couple more, if you'll allow me.
Absolutely.
I know that there are a lot that I've read and there are a lot that I like. So I know we're kind of cutting it, we're kind of trimming it down. But Andrew Hicks and his The Fern and the Rose. I love how he writes character interactions, and he's got some cool philosophy in the story too. And then the last one that I'll mention, but definitely not the last one that I read, is Bryant Perkins and Enoch Rising. And I don't know if you've taken a look at that, but his writing is just so good. And you can really tell he's done his homework.
Yeah. And that's why it interests me, is because I've done so many years of research into different theologies and stuff. That's what informs my writing, is just all the work I've done.
Yeah, and it really piques my interest, that kind of stuff, that kind of historical stuff. So yeah.
Really, well, that's 5. You did pretty well.
Yeah.
Thanks for
sharing. There are more.
Out.
There are definitely more, so many more that I have on my list.
I'll give you one more, because I don't really, I count, but I don't really count on this list. So go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm not gonna, no. No That's more? All I had on my notes.
All right then.
No, it's okay.
All right then, I was ready, I'm ready to accommodate.
I know. Well, you're gonna, you know what? You're gonna have to wait and let me pull up my list.
All right then.
I'll
wait. We'll advertise Coca-Cola in the meantime.
Where is that one I was just looking at? I've got, trust me, it's coming up. Going down the list here. I could just pull whatever I've got, but I'm really looking for this one. Where is it? Sorry, everybody.
Have you seen the recently looked at list at the bottom of your Vella thingy?
Oh, yeah, I always forget about that.
It's there.
There it is. Okay, so it's R.G. Roberts, her Knight Rider story.
Oh.
Knight Rider, A Story of the Legacy. It's a really cool fantasy story.
Now, it's not Knight Rider like Kit.
No.
Okay.
Well, yeah, no, it's not. It's night as in day and night.
Right. I thought Kit was day and night Rider.
No, I think that he was Michael Knight and it was with a K.
Oh, okay. So this is, but is it a car?
No, it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy story.
Okay, so it's a fantasy. All right.
Yes, and I love it. That's totally my kind of story right there.
Tell me about it a little bit.
Well, it's there's some politics involved. There's a kingdom that has been kind of destroyed, and there's somebody, the main character is part of this faction that has kind of lost, and kind of starts from there. And the first episode has this sword fight in it that's so cool. I love that stuff. I love her stuff, but yeah, that's totally what I'm into.
Okay, sounds a little Robert Jordan-ish.
Maybe. I haven't read a lot of Robert Jordan.
He's dense. He's super dense. He's what you were saying.
I think I read that that first Wheel of Time book. I read it halfway through and then I stopped, and then years later I read it halfway through and then I stopped. I just couldn't do it.
I haven't read him entirely, and I haven't read Tolstoy entirely.
But just from the beginning, that Knight Rider story, just from the beginning, is just the pace of it is perfect. It's just
ooh, okay. All right. Well, that's good. All right. So now you've done your shout outs. The very next thing is, as you know, I try to plumb the minds of the brilliant writers out here to see if you were in charge of all things Kindle Vella, what, if anything, would you do to improve the platform?
Well, I think the first thing that I would do is I would go ahead and put one of Robert Grayson's stories on the featured bar. Been waiting.
No one else.
I've been waiting.
Dude, You're thinking too small, too small. Wouldn't you put yourself on that 4-story billboard out in Times Square like they did with 6-shooter and a shifter?
Maybe. Yeah, probably. Why not? Let's do that.
Absolutely. So, okay. First order of business, advertise Robert Grayson better. All right.
I think that we've been talking about this in some of our groups. I think that when you got us all together for a Zoom meeting, I think this kind of came up a little bit, and that was I might categorize things differently on that front page. Now I know the tags are there.
Yeah.
But the flashiest stuff right up at the top isn't really a cross section of genres. And I would like to see, hey, here's the top faves in this genre. Here's the top faves in this genre. Here's the top. And I know it's there kind of.
You have to click into it though.
But yeah, and I think that, somebody who's on there and wants to read sci-fi, say, you've got this thing in your face that says, here's what's the top in romance. Here's what's the top. It's all romance.
Right.
Here's a bunch of
First
romance
harem
for
or
you.
nothing, baby.
And I mean, who's to say someone's not going to go, forget it.
Smoke these bareback camels or nothing.
Yeah, people are trying to find sci-fi. It's not good for them. It's not good for people who are writing sci-fi, and that's just an example. You've got to scroll down a bit further and you've got to kind of look at these little tag buttons. What do these do? Especially if it's somebody who's coming on this platform first, their first time, it kind of makes genre specific stuff hard to find. And I think I might change that. I don't know how I would change that. But I think the interface may not be the best for, people who are searching for genre specific stuff.
I'm hoping they figure it out. What comes to my mind is Libby. Have you ever used that app?
Mm-mm.
Well, it's an app and it is universally available throughout this country. Pretty much what I mean, well, of course it's available, it's in the App Store, but I mean, your libraries are all using it.
Okay.
So you can peruse your library and borrow books electronically through Libby. And the way that it's broken down is, just by genre. You go in and when you set your search, you pick a genre and you can set those as your preferred
Right.
your preferred defaults.
Right.
And see only in that genre, only what's available in that genre.
Gotcha. Yep.
So it's pretty interesting. I don't think it's the answer, but it's something similar.
You can do that on Vella, kind of, but you really have to figure out how to do it.
Right. You want it served up like that.
Yeah. I mean, something that's obvious and yeah, I mean, just looking at it right now, it's funny because they had, so now my previously viewed is right up at near the top, but there is this bar that came in, stories you may like.
Yes.
And it's a mystery to me how they got those because it doesn't look like stories I may like, but I'm sure they're working on it,
Well, here you go. We're contributing to that, okay? Because we're bending the natural order of things, right? We're writers looking at each other's stuff that we would not normally gravitate to.
Yeah.
And so we're queering the algorithms ourselves by hopping around and reading each other's stuff. So when you see stuff on your serve up list that doesn't look like you, it means you've been helping your fellow writers out and reading out of your genres.
And that is true definitely true to some extent. I mean, I'll go on there and I'll read people's stuff and comment on it and say, you know what, this isn't usually what I read, but I'm glad I did,
Right.
And that's another thing that the platform has done has gotten me reading stuff that I wouldn't normally read. And you know what? It's not bad. It's not bad. It's like me watching Downton Abbey. Like, I would never have watched that, but I have, and I love it. So how? Right. I don't know. It's so like, good.
Yeah, you don't know why you want to see Mary Crowley be bitchy to somebody, but you do. but you do.
Right.
And it's good. And for me, like I say, it's very similar to knowing how to trim down the TikTok account and knowing, and using it for fun. It's very similar. I feel very similarly. I don't think, So I don't think the AI is going to get a handle on us because we're moving outside of what the normal reader would theoretically do. Yeah, I'd like to see something else be number one for a minute.
Yeah. I kind of
no shade on.
No, not at all, and no shade on the genre either.
No,
that is kind of taken over. Not at all, but I would like to see a little bit more opportunity. Opportunity there, and I think it would be helpful. I think it would be helpful to Amazon to have people come in who are looking for something specific, be able to find that thing right away. But they are working on it. And
yes, and I do think their teams know that they're going to have to step up their presentation game. I think they know that.
Yeah.
And right now they're building their Trapper Keeper. They're building the library.
Right. And as I said before, I'm going to use it for what it is, and what it is for me right now is encouragement to write. So
exactly. Well, it can be more than that too. It can be your gateway into new audiences, which I think I see it as this, that Vella is literally like laser beam targeting a younger generation. Kindle they do not care that their KU readers are coming up going, you have to think time, meh. Right. And they're like, you're generationally dying off, so we're bringing in this new generation. So y'all just go over and complain over there. We'll give you Kindle Unlimited. And y'all can bitch in the corner and tell people to get off your lawns while we're going out here and we're dredging up the teenage through the 20 audience.
Yeah, and just wait and see what happens when they start opening it up beyond the US.
Exactly. But they need to take small, cautious steps from a technological standpoint. Cautious steps, and we should all be happy that they're doing that, okay? Because I don't want to read Gindlina, Good Witch of Korea, all right? I don't want to see it. I don't want to see that someone has stolen it because they have cocked around and gone too fast with the platform, and you're able to just like snake that stuff down and steal people's stuff. If they're going to steal it, I want them to have to retype it.
That's right. Yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah, they still have some issues with that right now.
I know. And they have those blowholes that are taking foreign writers' material. Have over 400 serials up now, according to Sable Jack, and I believe her. I think that was who said that. Sable, if I'm lying on you, I'm sorry. But anyway, I believe it, that this machine that has put itself together to get some of the Vella money from foreign writers. Right. Putting foreign writers' stories up. I believe that's going on right now. You can see it. I forget the name of the outfit. I don't want to give them any press, but or love here. So I'm not going to. So.
But you're right. They have a lot of work to do. And yeah, they've got to definitely secure it before they do anything bigger.
Yes. And so I tend to watch things and see how they're unfolding. I'm pretty pleased with what they've done. And there's going to be, somebody's asked me to be on some show on July 10th. It's not Amazon. All right. But I'm supposed to be on that show because it's the anniversary. The 1-year anniversary.
Well, that's cool.
Of Vella. Yeah. So I don't know what it's going to be about, but I will be there.
Well, that'll be nice.
Yeah. Should be cool. Anyway, because we've all done stuff. I'm not alone out here.
Yeah. Well, I certainly appreciate what you're doing now.
Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys being willing to take your time and come on the show and tell us.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. It's just kind of an example of what I was talking about with the community,
Right.
is that, you're taking us and you're putting us out there. You don't have to do that, but you do. And
That's
it's
fun.
appreciated. Yeah.
It's fun.
And it is fun.
Decided on this. It made my experience so much richer.
Yeah.
And I love it. And yeah. So I'm not planning to stop anytime soon either, because new writers are onboarding daily. And I think that people who want to write for Vella, I bet you they're listening to these. People who are waiting for it to come to their country.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's happening.
Yeah, and it's still going to be there, and hopefully you'll have some of us back in the future.
Absolutely.
Finish some more stuff.
Absolutely. Gonna have more people on that have been, where they've gone since their first interview. Sure.
Yeah.
We will definitely be digging into more of that in the fall, because we'll have more people with books out and stuff.
Right. And maybe you will even be graced by the presence again of Saint Gage.
He won't have that mohawk though.
Yeah. Well, have him grow it back.
That'll be so sad. And yes, I will try to get Gagey on there, because Gage, I think, of all of us who are out there humping, I think he's got a real good shot of getting on the USA Today list.
Yeah.
All on his onesie.
Yep. I agree with you.
Whereas like Velen's Florigium, they've got a brilliant scheme, and it's a scheme that Kindle writers have been using for years now. And that's, and this is Eric Eisen's group I'm talking about now, where he has
Tell me more.
Oh, are you in it?
No.
Okay, so anyway, this is Eric Eisen's group I'm talking about. Okay. And anyway, so they all get together and they write these anthologies. So there's 8 writers per anthology, 9 writers per anthology, whatever. But if they hit, and they're all humping trying to advertise this, that's the idea. Mm-hmm. So you get 9 people advertising to their audience, which pushes this up in the algorithm. Okay. And if it pushes it high enough, it'll get picked up by USA Today.
Interesting.
Yes. And so as an automatic vehicle, all 9 of those suckers can say, I am a USA Today preferred writer. And they all went up on a raft together. Boop, And so, but I'm saying, I think Gage might push up there all by his onesie.
Yep.
And it's hard to do. I
would not be surprised.
I wouldn't either. And we can all watch and learn. And he's very open. I called him a bastard and said, who did your cover? I love that cover. He gave me the name. No problem. And, so the info's out there. It's not like he's hugging it to the vest. And so all of us are pretty open about what we did and what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good community to be in. It's a good time to be a writer.
Right.
And it's fantastic. I just love it when I get a Velen who is like me, who didn't have 9 books out there already.
Right.
And who was foundering, and this kind of helped him.
Yeah. I think the timing was right for me, and I think the timing was right for a lot of us.
Very much so. Much so. Brinking on a zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And I don't like to talk crazy on the videos. I don't want people to think that as soon as I turn this off, I'm putting my tinfoil hat on. Yeah. I'm not that way, but I do believe in a larger power and a greater power. I do not believe in religion.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest mistakes we've ever made, is organized religion.
I agree with you. Although I will definitely use it in my stories.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, but we're storytellers. So, Anything else you want to say? Especially here comes the very last of it. And yes, it is a real Mont Blanc.
You like your pens.
We are going to hear what you have to say to the folks who are going to be clicking the link in the video description, because they've got to read some Robert Grayson.
Well, if they're going to click the link for Starcross, then I'm sorry. But if you're going to click any of the other links, then thank you very much for your support. I hope that you read it and enjoy it.
Wonderful. He's going to give you a good story, I promise.
Thank you.
Well, okay. So for Hella Vella, this has been another Lawless interview. This is Mr. Robert Grayson. You remember you met him here first. And you guys stay cool out there.
Thank you.